After lashing out on Mia, Vian made her way towards Jungkook had to handle the things, and Mia looked at Vian's fading image and touched her cheeks, where Vian made her art by slapping her twice. Vian came outside the cabin and took a deep breath and decided to go inside, but as she was about to open the door, she heard the loud voice of Jungkook and Mr. Jeon. Mr. John, what was that behavior, Jungkook? How can you talk to Vian like that? She is your wife. Jungkook, forced pass. I was forced to marry her dad, and you know that. Just because of you, I am bearing her in the house and in office. Mr. John, are you out of your mind? JK, if she wasn't your favorite here, then I would have fired her. And what she did today, my head is literally getting blown up. Just because of you, she is here in office and in my life. Mr. John shook his head in disbelief, and there the girl outside the cabin was now. Maya rushed to her cabins and burst in tears because she never thought that Jungkook was that fed up with her. She was his secretary before the marriage, and she had always given her 100% in the work and never allowed anyone to have any complaint. But today, what she heard was making her restless. Many projects were given to their company because of her hard work, but today what happened made her all impression down, and the worst part was that she was not the culprit here. After struggling with her thoughts, she wiped her tears and made a decision. Mr. Jeon and Jungkook both were inside the cabin arguing regarding what happened, but their attention got diverted when Ryan came inside the cabin. Both of them looked at Ryan, but Jungkook's attention went on her friend, and there he saw a USB. JK, look, I told you she is careless. Now she will say she forgot this USB in her cabin. Ryan, no, I didn't. They both looked at Ryan, and Ryan went towards JK's laptop and attached USB and played the video of Mia. Well, that was the CCTV recording. How she took that USB from JK's cabin, and then how she came towards mine in meeting room after everything was over. JK and Mr. John both saw the video, and after that there was nothing to explain. JK was feeling betrayed. Something called guilt came in his eyes when he looked at Vine. Vine's eyes were already red because of crime, but she handled herself and came towards him and said, I was also forced in this marriage. It was not only you who was bearing, it's also me who is bearing you. I will never talk about my relation over here, but I will speak for my hard work, which you considered useless. But for me, my hard work is everything, and just because of that, I am standing here in front of you, not because of Mr. John. You know, if I was a normal employee, then I would have promoted twice, but I never talked about that because every staff knows that I am your wife. And I never wanted them to think that I got promoted because of that. I respected your every decision. I worked hard day and night, and that's how you paid me by calling me shame. Well, let me tell you something, Jeon Jungkook. I prefer self respect more than anything, so take this. Vine threw her resignation letter on JK's face. Mr. Jeon looked down and took a deep breath, and there JK knew he messed up. Vine, I resigned from your useless job. I will do my hard work in someone else's company. At least they will give me respect. And you know what? Boss like you deserves employees like me. Saying that, Vine left the cabin and Jungkook looked at her faded image. He knew he messed up badly. He hurted her. JK looked at Mr. Jeon. Mr. Jeon, I told you to watch your mouth. Look how badly that Mia has brainwashed you. Vine came inside her cabin and started packing her stuff with a cold heart. She knew it was time to leave this place where she worked for more than 5 years. Soon Jackie entered in her cabin and saw her packing her stuff. Jungkook, Vine came towards Jungkook with a bunch of files and handed him those files and said, these are the project's files. Now they are not my responsibility. Saying that, Vine picked up her stuff and dashed out of the cabin. She didn't have him any second to talk to her. As Vine went outside, JK looked at her cabin, which was now completely empty. Suddenly, the door got open. His attention went towards Vine, came back, but his eyes became bloodshot red because it was Mia. Mia, Jungkook, what happened? I heard that you didn't got the deal. Mia started her drama, but little did she knew Vine didn't left alone. She made all arrangements for Mia also. JK came close to her and rolled her shoulder tightly and said, Stop your nonsense. I know everything. How you took that USB from my cabin. Mia's legs started shivering. JK, how can you do this to me? Because of you, I lost the deal, and most importantly, I lost my hardworking employee. Mia knew he was talking about wine. Jungkook. Mia, don't worry. Look, our path is getting clear now. I can be your secretary, and we spend more time together. Jungkook closed his eyes. He was all ready to slap her. JK, shut up. You are thinking about being a secretary. You don't even deserve to be a clerk here. Get out. You are fired. Mia's eyes went wide open. Oh, she was dreaming, but everything was messed up for her. Mia, Jungkook, you can't. JK, Mia, get out before I say something wrong. Get out. Just like that, Mia also lost her job. Well, there was a great difference. One lost her job for her deeds, and one lost the job for her self respect. Jungkook came inside Mr. Jeon's cabin. Jungkook went and took a seat in front of his dad, but as he was about to speak, Mr. Jeon cut him. Mr. Jeon, you are here to ask me to why and that she should take her resignation letter back, right? Jungkook looked at his dad and nodded while looking down. Mr. John, I will not. Jungkook looked at his dad. Mr. John, this is your mess, Jungkook. Handle it yourself. I am not helping. In fact, you should be happy that at least she is gone from the office. JK, Dad, you know I was angry and all the emotions took over me at once and I said all that. Mr. John, that's the thing. You didn't care about her feelings and emotions and said whatever you wanted to say. And you are not a 5 years old kid who got angry and said these things. Look at you. You are grown up man. I'm sorry. I can't do anything. In fact, I am happy with her decision. She took a right path. Jungkook was guilty for whatever he did, and he knew it was not easy to get you back in office. After some time, he also left office to go home and look at you. Jungkook came inside the house and living room only to see his wife Fine sitting in the couch and lots of newspapers were present and she was holding a highlighter in her hand and was marking something. Jungkook knew she was looking for jobs right now. He took a minute and admired her natural beauty. She was wearing black normal loose shirt with trousers and hairs were tied up in a messy bun. Jungkook came back when he saw that Vine was looking at him and then she rolled her eyes and continued. Jungkook took slow steps and sat on the couch and cleared his throat to get attention, which he didn't got because the girl was damn hard and she ignored him like he was nothing. He again repeated that, but didn't got anything. Soon he decided to speak to her. Jungkook, Vine, listen. He didn't said anything more because Vine stood up from the couch and collected all newspapers and went towards the room. Jungkook looked at her in disbelief and followed her, but before he could reach, she shut the door on his face. JK signed and closed his eyes. Vance thought this man has still some guts to stand in front of me, say something. He think that I will forgive him. No, not like that. He has to suffer. Time skipped at night. Jungkook came out from the room and looked towards Van's room only to see a closed door. He went inside the kitchen and started preparing dinner because he knew she must be hungry and just like that he will get a chance to talk to her. Just like that he started preparing dinner and he was almost done when he saw Vine coming out of her room. He smiled softly and when she came inside the kitchen to get water, he said, come sit, dinner is almost done. His smile faded away when Vine didn't even look at him and left the kitchen. He was about to follow her, but he heard the doorbell and saw Vine going towards the door. He also went outside the kitchen, and after a few seconds, he saw her going inside her room with a box of meal which she ordered for herself. He felt hurt by that because he thought she will ask for dinner and he will talk and will handle the things, but here he knew this time it was not easy. He turned around and looked at the food which he prepared for both. He was putting food in refrigerator when his phone rang and he saw the caller ID. It was Mia. He signed and cut the call and switched off his phone because he was not in a mood for any debate and tantrums right now. All his focus was on one girl, but the question is why he was so worried for her. Wasn't that all what he wanted? Days were passing like that, and it was almost 1 week that Vine didn't talk to Jungkook. He tried a lot to talk to her, but she didn't even look at him, and all these things were making him crazy. He was missing her, her presence, her messy acts, her tantrums, her talks, everything. He was getting worried for his office work, and there he knew her importance as how she handled many things without him knowing, how she always gave relief to him, but now everything was messed up. He was getting stressed out at office and also at home for her. He was missing her little chit chat a lot. He knew that he needs her in his life, in his heart, but he just needed a little push so that he can be sure about his feelings. But who will make him up from that trapped sleep of Mia? Jungkook was rolling on the bed with the thoughts of Ryan and his office work. He wanted to solve everything, but looks like things were not in his end. He was rolling continuously when he heard the banging on his room door. He stood up and went to open the door, and he saw Ryan standing outside. He became happy with the thought that maybe she came here to talk, and with excitement he said, "Listen, Ryan, I know I messed up, but please listen to me." He was cut off by Ryan. "Shut up and let's go." "JK, let's go where?" Ryan rolled her eyes and said, "You have to come with me now." JK got confused and said, "I will, but where?" "Ryan, don't ask questions and come." Ryan held his hand and dragged him outside the room and went inside the car. Ryan made him sit to drive and herself settled down beside him. "Ryan, now drive." Jungkook was looking at Ryan and Ryan said, "What are you waiting for? Let's go." "JK, how can I when you didn't told me where to go? Look at the time, it's 2 in midnight." "Fine, I will tell you the way you start the car." Jungkook was confused where she was taking him, but he could clearly see that she was in a hurry. He started the car and they drove off. "Fine, okay, now go right, no left." "JK, what?" He took a quick turn. "Fine, now go right, fast, go." JK again took a fast cut and looked at her in disbelief. "JK, you have to tell me at least few seconds before the cut." Van rolled her eyes and he shook his head, and they both continued their way, and soon after a few minutes they came out the location. It was a club. JK looked at the club and then at Vine. "Seriously, you take me here for party at midnight?" Vine sighed, and for some reasons her eyes softened and she held his hand in her hand and started going inside. JK could sense the tension in her eyes as he could clearly read her expression. He knew it was not an enjoyment but something else. Just like that, they both entered inside the club. As they both came inside, they met with the cried alcoholic smell and loud music. Jungkook saw Ryan was looking here and there, probably finding someone. He was about to ask her, but before that, Ryan took his attention and pointed somewhere. JK looked at the direction, and his lips parted away and eyes went wide open when he saw Mia on the couch making out with someone. Lots of emotions were taking place in his mind: anger, emotional betrayal, hurt. Ryan left his hand slowly, and JK took slow steps towards me. Vine was looking at Jungkook, who was approaching Mia. She knew he must be hurt, but she had promised himself that and his dad at the time of wedding that he will open his eyes and will let him see the true colors of Mia. JK came towards Mia, taking her attention, and she removed the man from her. She fixed her dress and stood straight. She got caught red-handed. "Mia." "Jungkook." A hard slap landed on her face. "JK, I was a bastard. I paid for what I did. I never listened to my dad when he was telling me that you are not good, but I never listened, and because of you, I hurted the soul, which I will regret for the rest of my life. You know what? I am at the fault and I deserve this." She was right. Pathetic people like me deserve like you. But don't worry, I will make sure you will pay for cheating on me. JK left the place as mine had already left. Mia knew she was doomed as JK blocked her all accounts and gave her a termination letter with a strict note that no other company will offer her any job. And for himself, the biggest punishment was that he hurt his father and Ryan. But little did he knew his biggest punishment was waiting for him. Jungkook came inside all broke up. His eyes were red not just because of his relationship, but because he knew how badly he messed up in his life. He gave his trust to the one who didn't deserve it, and the one who deserved it, he didn't even try to give her his trust. He was at the loss completely. He looked at the door of Anne's bedroom and saw it was closed, but the lights were on. Yesterday he had the courage to talk to her, but today he can't even look at her in her eyes and says he was regretting. He dropped himself on the couch and cried his heart out. Time skipped to next day. JK opened his eyes, hearing some voices as he slept last night on the couch. He opened his eyes completely and saw there were two bags, and then his attention went on Vine, who was coming downstairs carrying her handbag and an envelope in her other hand. He stood up from the couch and his heartbeat was going crazy. It was fast. He looked at Vine and they both made an eye contact, and Vine gave him a small smile and came towards him. Vine, finally your long last wait is over. You are free from every toxic and forced relationship now. Here, take this. JK took the envelope which Vine gave him. He opened it and saw papers or divorce papers having Vine's sign on it. He felt devastated. His world got collapsed. He had managed him somehow yesterday, but after this everything was finished. He looked at Vine with teary eyes as he couldn't hold himself. JK, Vine, listen to me please. Look, I never wanted this. I know I am bad. I did force, but please can't we just forget everything and focus on our life? Vine signed and looked at Jungkook. JK himself didn't know what he was saying. Vine took a step closer and said, exactly, Jungkook. Mia's chapter is over and I am freeing you from this forced marriage just as you wanted. I also left the office. Now you just have to sign those papers and focus on your life. JK, no, I want you in my life, Vine. At first I didn't see your importance, but now I need you. JK, the time you left the office and all this 1 week, I came to know that you are so precious to me, Vine. I am regretting for what I said that day. I was angry. Please forgive. Vine shook her head and said, you said what you wanted to say. All those words are stuck inside my head. Vine, I didn't forget any word of yours, Jungkook. You should be happy that you are getting what you wanted. It's over now, Jungkook. We both are free. Jungkook aggressively shook his head and held her hand and cried while saying, don't say like this, please. I am regretting seeing you leaving me like this is making it hard for me to breathe. Please don't leave me, Vine, please. Vine removed her hand from his grip and put those papers on the table. Fine, we both are not made for each other, Jungkook. Vine started going outside the house and Jungkook fell on his knees and cried a lot while continuously saying, don't go, please, don't leave me. Tears gathered in Vi's eyes. She could listen to his cries, but she knew what she is doing is best for both of them. Vine and Jungkook both needed time to clear their mind and move on from their past. Vine knew it was the right decision. She did her best and fulfilled her promise, which she did to his father. She made him understand the real meaning of life partner. It was not easy for her to leave her husband, but she knew they both needed this. She made the right decision for her and himself. She could listen to his cries and it was making hard for her. Both were remembering their best times together in the house, but now it was over. She was gone from his life and he was regretting it.